Hey, what's up, beautiful Bellcast listeners? Welcome to another episode of Bellcast. I'm Gio.
And I'm Bart, and welcome to our new set.
I know, we keep changing sets. This isn't the end-all, be-all. This is just a temporary. But yes, if you're listening to us right now, head on over to our YouTube and check out the space and check out our broken-ass sign that Bart broke with his dick.
If you watch the vlogs, so there's this one vlog where we're trying to move everything and set everything up here. And I moved this halfway across the office through all the bumpiest roads in the world, didn't pop a single bulb. And then when I put it here and I'm just trying to shimmy it like 2 inches, my throbbing dick touched it. And
Wait, you were really hard?
No, let's focus on the bulb. So
well, you said my throbbing dick.
Yeah, my pulsating dick touched it and then it cracked the bulb.
Why are you hard?
No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't hard. It was nothing. It was just.
So it wasn't even your dick. It was probably your zipper. Because you know how like the zipper portion of the pan is always the thickest?
No, I don't. I mean, I wear.
So you don't even have a big dick? Is that what you're telling everybody? You don't even have a big dick to break a fucking
small.
bulb?
It's pretty small, actually. But yeah, my little wee hit it, and then it shattered it, and then so now half the sign doesn't work.
Yeah, I kind of like it like this though, because it tells a story. Like I like that it's fucked up because we're like this.
Yeah,
this
we're
is
broken
me.
people, so we need broken stuff.
Yeah, this is me. Like half of me is lit. Like the exterior is the lights that you see. That's me on the outside, but the inside is just so dark and sad.
Dead. But it's
And
actually the other
broken.
way around. Because on the outside you have resting bitch face, but inside you're really cuny.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
You're actually super cuny on the inside.
I'm just trying to compliment myself and say I was cute.
Well, you're cute.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, okay. Before we get into anything else, I do want to shout Bart out because today's actually his birthday.
Oh, thank you.
So today's his birthday. You guys are listening to this about 2 days late, so
Yeah.
don't trip. But it is his birthday, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life, and I'm so grateful to celebrate so many birthdays with you.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, birthdays are beautiful days, but okay, so we got you a cake, but
Who's we?
Me and my mom.
Oh,
My
cutie.
mom loves you. My mom, you're her son, dude.
Yeah,
you're her
that's
second
awesome.
son.
Not the way she looks at me.
And I'm gonna
She
vlog
looks at me with
this.
naughty eyes, like I could hit that. I'm like, I just want to see
She's
my
like,
mom.
his dick could break lights. His dick could break my lights. His little wee wee. Anyway, and I don't want to ruin the surprise for you, but
Yeah.
I got something on the cake.
Oh, cool.
It's nothing fancy, but it's just something funny. I think it was for me to laugh at.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
So there's
the
a lot
best.
of new things happening today.
Yeah.
New set. Happy birthday. How old are you?
Turned 25 again.
Shut the fuck up.
Isn't
How old
that
are you?
crazy?
How old
it
are
keeps
you?
happening. Turned 25 9 times.
That's crazy because you look like you're 42.
I know. No, I'm 36 now.
Damn, dog. Are we finally the same age? Nope. I'm 37.
No, you're always a year older than me. And then there's 1 month where you're 2 years older than me.
Damn. All right. Okay. Well, yeah. So what are we talking about today, Bart? Since we got everyone caught up.
Yeah, so today I wanted to talk about, because it seemed like we got a lot of good feedback on, what was that?
Your hands are so dry. They make all this noise. Put it next to the mic and do that.
Oh, shit, I could hear it.
Those are Bart's hands. These are my hands.
Oh, it's way different. Yeah, so we've been getting a lot of good feedback on why we're moving to Vegas in that video. So like I was, oh, this is really cool. It seems like there's a lot of people that kind of share the same interests, or at least have the same curiosity as we do in terms of moving, not just out of California, but the concept of moving out of the place that you grew up in.
Right.
And so I kind of wanted to see like and share like some of our thought process and what other places we actually considered, and even how drastic we would have gone. So I kind of want to start off with just like my own personal thoughts, where, you know, like when you grow up in LA and your whole life, all you hear and see are people moving in from out of state. You know, like you hear this actor, this actress, or people that are like, but they come here for the weather. LA is the best. And then even growing
LA
up,
is the best.
yeah, growing up in the 90s, there's even the Tupac song "To Live and Die in LA," and I was just repping LA, Dodgers, Lakers. It's like our sports is the best, our entertainment's the best, our weather's the best, the people, the style. Like we're trendsetters of the world. Our food, I'm like, we're literally the fucking best.
Wait, I
right?
don't want to leave anymore.
And hey, thank you guys for watching.
Damn, it's all enticing.
No, so like
this is shit I took for granted.
Yeah, like literally everything's the best, right? So growing up, like you always talk about like, oh, would you live somewhere else? And I'm like, fuck no, LA till I die, motherfucker.
Yeah, show him your tattoo. Show him your tattoo, baby.
Right there, LA.
Just kidding.
Right there. Yeah, so it's always like,
I wonder if people know when you make that voice that you're imitating type because you just sound like a 36-year-old dummy.
or they might be like, oh shit, that's that new LA slang.
What the?
Yeah, so I'm like, like I've always thought I was gonna die in LA. And even when I was in the military and I go out to North Carolina, I'm representing LA. I remember one time I was about to get like scammed or jumped in Paris. I'm from LA, motherfucker. It's just this like you know how like the Diaz brothers, it's like it's all about Stockton, right? Like even when they slap people in the middle of the UFC, if you ever hear the leaked footage, it's like Stockton slap, Stockton motherfucker. And like that's how I felt. Like I like LA raised me. I got LA in my genes and my roots. And I bleed LA no matter what, right?
Our lungs are filled with that fucking LA smog, baby.
Yeah, that O3 probably, or whatever the fuck that is. And so I never thought we would leave until like the circumstances of LA, like economically, socially, fiscally, politically, everything started to change. And then we started to question if LA really is what it is. And when you think about it, it is something that's like, wow, I can't believe you're moving out of state. But then if you're a minority, chances are those were the exact same steps your parents did.
Yeah.
You know, like my dad, he grew up in China. Communist China was when it was super crazy. They fled when he was 14, 15 through the jungle, through the like channels.
That's wild, man.
Landed in Hong Kong, set himself up there, finally was able to get to America, got his green card, did that whole process, right? And I'm like, now that's crazy. Like moving across
16 to 17, I was just trying to find weed.
No, him.
And I couldn't find it either.
You weren't that good. Because one of my dad's homies found a snake bite and he died.
He found a snake bite?
Yeah. He was like, oh shit, what's that? And died. And because they went with like 7 brothers and 7 homies, my dad, his girlfriend, and other homie, and they didn't make it. They had to try multiple times. But when they came back, only 5 of them came back because one got shot by one of the guards.
Oh, shit.
Border Patrol. And then one of them got bit by a snake.
God damn.
But those are the steps that our parents took, you know? And for us, all we got to do is pack our bags, go across state lines.
I know, get in my fucking self-driving car and take my little cute ass, into Vegas.
Yeah. And to me,
Nevada.
And to me, that's what makes like, I think America seems so beautiful to me. Although, yeah, it's going through some bullshit right now. It does seem so beautiful because like what other country is made up of 50 different environments that have different views on finances, politics, social issues, all that. And you can like literally have like 50 different choices as to how you want to live your life. And I think I feel so grateful and privileged to be in a place like that. And so like, yeah, but when I look at what my parents and what many people's parents went through, I'm like, oh, we're just kind of doing what they did. So it's when I think about it like that, I don't think it doesn't seem that crazy anymore. And it doesn't seem like I'm like pulling my roots out because I'm like pulling your roots out and finding a better place for yourself and your family to live. That's a pretty normal, like human trait.
Yeah. Yeah. Or else you're just going to be like a complaining ass person, that's just disgruntled and they're hating their life because they feel like they have no control over it. And our parents were prime examples, or my parents' parents were prime examples of like, you have to make your life. If it's not working for you here, then you can't change the whole, the whole country that you live in or the whole state that you live in. So then you just move yourself out of it and find something that, just blends into the life that you want to live. Yeah.
Even when I talked to your mom, I was like, how did you end up where you ended up? And even in LA, she moved from like different pockets to different pockets. Like first she came, I think she was like in like Reseda or Encino area. That's where her family was. But by the time she got married, your dad found like this really cool plot of land for like a very affordable price. So, it's just, I think it's really natural for people to just go like, what best serves my goals and my circumstances? And they just slowly like move around. It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, so I wanted to, share too, some of the other states that we considered, and some of them was going to be like drastic lifestyle changes because obviously if you do move from one place to another, you do have to have a lifestyle change. And I think for us, that's what helped us settle on Vegas because when you look at the grand scheme of things, it almost feels like Vegas is just an extended LA. It's literally only 4 hours away from LA.
A drive.
4-hour drive from LA. And some states are wider than 4 hours. You know, they could be like, I don't know, driving across Texas could be like 8-12 hours. And it just so happened that someone drew a arbitrary line there and called one thing Nevada and called the other thing California. But in terms of like, to me, like Vegas feels very similar to LA because there's an international airport with international visitors constantly, right? Like you go to Santa Monica, there's people taking pictures. There's like of all different ethnicities. There's like, so there's that. And then there's the staying up with the trend thing that I really like about Vegas, where there's an Apple store there. There's a Din Tai Fung. Like, I don't think there's any other city besides like LA, probably New York, Tokyo, Seoul, like Taipei, where there's Apple store and probably Lululemon and a Din Tai Fung. So that tells me they're at the forefront. And on top of that, you have all of the cool like tax breaks. So it just feels like literally like LA, but like a little bit more business friendly on the financial end. So I think that was, at least for me, that was why like Vegas was kind of like a shoo-in. What made you want to go with Vegas? Because we kind of did our own voting in our brain, and then we kind of met in the middle.
Yeah. So for me, it was, so we had definitely considered other states. So we considered, and we talked about this in a previous podcast. So we're just going to elaborate a little bit more, but we considered, for a little bit, I entertained Hawaii, just because it's Hawaii. Like, we love Hawaii. We got married in Hawaii. Like,
that's still America.
Yeah, I have but it doesn't feel like America. I love Polynesian culture. I love, all of that. Like Taika's like in love with it. Like his favorite movie is Moana. Not to say that it's closely related to Hawaii, but we just love that island vibe.
Yeah, island vibes.
Yeah, so considering, and we go there like every year. We've been there every year for like, I don't know, 6-7 years now, maybe even more. But yeah, so that kind of just started feeling like a second home to me. So I'm like, wait, why don't we just go out there? Like, it's a safe place. I don't have to adjust too much. We're 3 hours behind, which I'm like, even better, like in terms of business, because everyone does business around the world around the same time, like 6 a.m., depending where you're from, or it can start at 8 a.m. and then it all shuts down, around 6 or 7 sometimes. So going to Hawaii and being 3 hours behind, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is tight. But then the thing that deterred me from that was, there's still like a state tax, and for me, I'm in the phase in my life right now where I want to stack my chips.
It's one of the highest ones too. Like California is the highest. I don't know if Hawaii is second, but it's definitely,
it's up there.
Top 5, top 10. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, considering you have states like Nevada that have 0.
And Florida, Washington.
Yeah. To jump to 9 and then we're at what, 13? Like that's a huge jump. 0 to 13 is huge. 0 to 9 is huge. But I understand it too, because you're paying a premium for like a commodity.
Yeah, the people, they call it like the lifestyle tax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is a lifestyle, and it's, it's a lifestyle that a lot of people don't get to have and a lot of people really want. So the income tax was the biggest deterrent for me. But the first biggest, like ultimate deterrent was the fact that it's like a 6-hour flight. And that's a flight. And then if an emergency happens, because all our families out here in LA, that if an emergency happened, I can't get to anyone until maybe 12 hours later.
At the minimum.
If
the airports are open.
Right.
And isn't that crazy? Like pre-2020, I never thought that there would be a time where the airports are open. You know what I mean? Like I took it like, because my whole life, I've been flying my whole life. And I kind of just took it for granted a little bit, where I'm like, oh shit, like transportation's a privilege.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
It took 2020 to remind me of that.
Yeah, imagine if you were out there right as they started shutting everything down.
Yeah, like, you'd have to stay there.
You can't get on a boat. But the people that were on a boat, just on a cruise, they got quarantined for like a month.
Yeah.
It was rough, man.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer. But okay, so that was like the number one deterrent was fuck. In case of an emergency, family's everything to me. So I want to make sure that I'm just only a hop, skip, and a jump away. And Hawaii wasn't that for me. So Vegas and Texas were the other considerations. And Vegas, I just fucking hated Vegas. I hate Vegas. I hate the strip. I hate the nightlife. I hate drinking. I hate gambling.
Let's go back to Hawaii real quick. Let's say Hawaii had a direct, like, I don't know, over the water railroad, or Tesla or Elon
God
Musk.
damn, over the water railroad, I'm in.
Yeah, or like Elon Musk, I don't know, created some crazy hyperloop like Hawaii to California thing.
Oh my God, under
now,
the water?
Yeah, so now the transportation.
I wasn't clearing my throat, by the way.
Oh, fine. Now the transportation isn't an issue. Would that change things?
Before I answer that, let me introduce our sponsors. All right, so happy to be working with our sponsor, Best Fiends. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I absolutely love app games, but I specifically love Best Fiends because it is so entertaining. It's so cute. The graphics are super duper cute. And the cutest thing just happened this past week. I was playing the game and Taika watched me, my son, my 3-year-old son, was watching me play it. And then he goes, Mama, can I try? So then I gave it to him and he picked it up because it's just really briefly, this is how much I love this game. So it's a bunch of bugs and insects and they're trying to stop all these slugs from eating their beautiful garden. So the more you advance in the game, the more bugs that you start collecting, and all these bugs have different powers and like intensity levels that they use against all of the slugs that are like destroying all of their beautiful gardens. So the further you get, the longer you play, the stronger your insects get. And it's so cute because they even morph. So you have to like collect like 4 or 5 flowers in a row or just different things. And Taika was able to get the concept of the game like in seconds. So now he's like on level 5 and it's the cutest because he loves going, okay, what animal goes with what color so that animal can attack the slug specifically.
That's
so
candy.
It's so much fun. It's honestly fun for people of all ages. I usually play this at the end of my workday because I like to unplug and unwind and not think about work and not think about all the daily stressors in my life. And I like to just escape into this beautiful little fantasy land of the garden, Best Fiends world. And I love that the scenes are constantly changing. So no 2 scenes are ever alike. And you guys, if you travel a lot, well, I mean, when you were traveling, but it's opening up back up. This is one thing that I really liked is you didn't need to have internet connection. So if you're on a flight and there's no Wi-Fi, no problem. You can still continue the gameplay.
Or if you're driving and driving's getting kind of boring, you can bust it out.
Yeah, or if you're in the mountains.
Just kidding. Don't play when you're driving.
Oh, well, I just thought as a passenger. Oh. Because there's a lot of mountain trips that we take and
true.
we can't listen to any other music.
True. You don't get reception of anything.
There's nothing, but I can still play my game. So make sure to download Best Fiends for free today at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Again, that's friends without the R, Best Fiends. And we're back. All right. Well, so number one is that I can't get to my family because of transportation. So if that's a fact that I don't have to consider anymore, would I consider Hawaii?
Yeah. So now it's like, obviously it's still going to probably take 2-3 hours no matter how the transportation is. But even if it's like a hyperloop thing and you're flying through at like 600 miles an hour or whatever, but at least because you're in your own pod, maybe there's not as much quarantine pandemic issues. So now transportation's a for sure thing. Would you still live in Hawaii?
No, because this was a consideration even before like quarantine or whatever, or that was an issue that I was going to come up with anyway.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. Like, let's say Elon does there's no quarantine to worry about, and he does like the rocket travel that he wants to do where you can go anywhere around the world in only 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
If that's the case, I'm fucking going anywhere. I'm going to live in Japan.
You would live in Japan?
I would live, if transportation's only 30 minutes.
I don't think I could live in Japan.
I would live in fucking Japan.
You really would?
I would love to live in Japan. Are you kidding me? I'm like a fucking tech fucking loser.
Oh, shit.
Like anything super techie.
This changes everything.
Anything super techie and
we
shit.
need to get a divorce.
Why?
I can't be living in Japan.
Oh, I'm not pushing you to live in Japan. The fuck?
Just kidding.
Why can't you live in Japan? Japan is sick as fuck.
I'm too claustrophobic. I really need my
More
space.
than me?
So you're
you can
physically claustrophobic, right? Like you don't want someone to smother you.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I really enjoy my my like geographical living space.
Oh, so you're like a Texas person.
Yes, like my ideal situation is if I had a ranch. So that like it's like 40, 50 acres.
But that's how fucking scary movies all like start out. There's
How?
a big plot of land where you can't the only way you can communicate with your neighbors is either like a phone call or you drive to their house. Like you don't see another person. Like that shit is too isolated.
Well, because you're watching the movie from the perspective of the person getting scared. I'm watching the movie from the perspective of the monster.
Okay.
I am the Texas chainsaw guy. You know what I mean? You're the person getting cut up. So for me, I want my ranch and I can't wait for people to come into my ranch so I can cut them up.
All right. Well, I need to get on that level.
Yeah. Well, so like for me, the ranch would have its own boundaries, right? It's like, it's 40, 50 acres, but then I know no one's going to be on this mountain. I know no one's going to be going to my creek. No one's going to be shitting behind the tree.
So you have to have your own shit. You don't like sharing with anyone.
I do, but I also like, if I could have my own, I would love to just have my own. Okay.
So Japan's out of the question.
Well, because when I think Japan.
What about Kyoto?
So that's a little bit better, like countryside Japan. I can picture myself more in Kyoto or maybe even Osaka where it's spread out. But,
Osaka.
But when I see like Tokyo or like Shibuya where it's just tons of
like
people.
Like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. Like I've been to Taiwan.
And all the houses are like literally you can like stick not even your full arm out. And like you're already touching the other. Yeah, like
some streets are one way and it's like only enough for a tiny like Japanese smart car, you know?
Yeah.
Like I grew up in Taiwan. I mean, I didn't grow up in Taiwan, but I went to Taiwan every single year. And that tight Asianness where you just constantly hear noise, you hear your neighbor's noise, and you
Does it make you feel alive?
I don't like it.
Okay.
I think that's also why I didn't like downtown. Like you like downtown?
No, I hate downtown.
Then what makes you like Japan's down on steroids?
I like Japan because it's clean, it's safe. Everyone is like on the same program. I like that. I like the technological advancements that they have. I like how they get creative with their concepts and their restaurants and their just lifestyle and stuff. I even like the Osaka, Kyoto side of it where everything's so country and so slow that it feels like you just time travel to like a different era.
But you know who innovates the most though?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're more Japan than Japan.
Well, Japan has a fucking Mr. Robot cafe or restaurant or Mr. Robot restaurant. I forgot what it's called now. And that shit is tight as fuck. Okay, anyway, we just got off.
We also have all the Cirque shows that kind of shit on the Mr. Robot thing. Like I can see over and over and over. Mr. Robot.
Yeah, you're like on an acid trip.
I don't know if I can see that 10 times in a row.
Oh, I'll see it high on different substances every time. But anyway, okay, so Japan was never a real consideration, right?
Okay.
I'm only playing around with your hypothetical that transportation
well, you made
an
it
issue.
real because I was about to get divorced.
Shut up. You would never, right?
What?
You would never.
Was divorce legal there?
It's legal all over the world.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm just fucking. Can't we play with hypotheticals? God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it. Okay.
Well, I just want to know, hypothetically, should I divorce you before we move or after we move?
Shut the hell up. You would never. Anyway. Okay. So real talk, going back to the topic at hand is, so the travel part of it, I don't think I could still do Hawaii.
Why?
Honestly speaking.
Because that's the most beautiful place. And we love that place. Taika loves that place.
It is. I love it. It's the most beautiful place. But every time I go there, I'm happy to come back home. I feel like I'm going to get island fever. Like I'm going to just feel like cabin fever. Like I'm just going to feel like been there, done that, seen everything. I need a little bit more stimulus or I need some change of environment and everything's exactly the same. And because I'm like from LA, I'm used to going to the mountains or the beach or, you know, Hollywood or just different. There's just so many different settings.
I see.
That are just completely polar opposite to each other. So LA,
what if it's just one setting and it's just paradise setting? You don't like it? Like you need your computer to kind of like freeze a little bit, buffer. You don't want it to be too fast, too smooth, too much RAM.
I think everything's a little too small for me and it moves too slow.
Oh, it's too slow.
Yeah, I think it's a little too slow for me.
You don't think you could adjust your lifestyle and then you slow down a little bit? Like, oh, cool. Like the things that I wanted to chase were the goals. Like,
nah.
I don't need that many goals.
No, I get inspired with people that move fast because I already feel like I personally move slow.
Yeah.
So I try to put myself in positions of people that I see move fast.
Yeah.
Because then that inspires and motivates me.
Yeah.
So now if everyone else is slow, I'm going to get so fucking frustrated and I'm going to just be living on edge because I'm going to be like, let's fucking go. Let's do something. Let's move.
But then their slow also isn't a like I'm not smart slow. Theirs is just more like
chill. Life
like
is
aloha chill.
I know.
It's a different type of slow. It's not like, oh, this guy is incompetent slow.
Yeah.
It's like chill, bruh.
I know. I just don't like it. I don't like it for a long period of time.
Oh,
Yeah. So because of that, Hawaii would be a really hard one for me.
Damn.
I think I can own a house there
Yeah.
and then make it a vacation and maybe even spend a month out there. But to live there, that's a different story. So that was a quick in and out of my brain.
Well, speaking of thinking liking things to move fast, then why not like New York, or why not like?
Well, New York is the city, and the city's congested, and I love driving, and I can't drive out there.
I love driving too, and that's why I can't do Japan.
Oh, I can't do Japan either then. Yeah. So, and I've just never been drawn to New York at this age. When I was younger, I was very excited about it because it's just it's very artistic.
Yeah.
And it's very fast forward in terms of the fashion and just the art world and the art scene and all of that.
Probably
I really,
even
really like.
more trend-setting than LA
Absolutely.
is. Yeah.
Absolutely. So because of just that little thing was the reason why I wanted to visit. But the older I got, the less interested I got in it, especially when I started traveling overseas and seeing actual big cities, like even Taiwan, like Taipei, that city is just huge, So, it wasn't even a consideration because it's just super congested. Okay, so that's no on New York, and then no on Hawaii.
What about Florida? So Florida kind of has like the Hawaiian.
Well, there's just so much crazy news that comes out of there that I'm like, I only have the worst. One
of the reasons why I like Florida though, because of the crazy news, it's because they let things like that happen. So,
what do you mean?
So like, the reason why like, I don't know, someone could marry an alligator or something like that is because they let things like that happen. Where like, to me, that speaks for freedom, So that's what attracts me to that place. Where I'm like, you could be very free here.
Well,
you could do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not even looking at those stories. I'm looking at the ones that are like murder and crime and like crazy shit that happens, even though it happens here and we just cover it up more.
Yeah.
I just already have a bad taste in my mouth with Florida. No offense, Floridians, but y'all are crazy.
We also learned why that is.
Yeah, but I still don't care.
Because then it's not that Florida statistically is crazier. It's just that in most other states, any crime that happens must get passed through the police department before it reaches media.
Yeah.
In Florida, they get to bypass that step.
Yeah.
So that's why the crazy shit comes out much quicker, which also kind of feels like the truth comes out faster.
Yeah. Well, for me, I always want to level up.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that making my situation better. Because it's like crime to crime. I was just like, nah. I don't.
Zero state income tax compared to California.
Yeah, but I just think the craziness that I would hear out of it, I just didn't like it.
Just threw you off.
Yeah, so I didn't like it. So I'd rather have you lie to me.
Okay.
Yeah. The serious consideration I had, honestly speaking,
Please,
I never.
Please be honest, please.
Finally, for once,
I
right?
wouldn't want you to lie. No.
For once, I'm going to be honest. I considered all these little things, but they were so short-lived in my mind.
What was another one that was short-lived?
Texas.
What about Wyoming?
Nah, just Texas.
Just Texas?
So honestly, it was just Nevada, Texas, and possibly Hawaii. That was it.
Which Texas?
Austin, and pretty much just Austin.
Just Austin?
Just Austin, because it seemed
Why
like it was the
Austin?
most. Because it seemed like it was the most progressive. It seemed like it was the most. Because like there, a lot of Hollywood studios are moving out there. When we went out there, it was like a younger, more newer town.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it was just more vibrant.
South by Southwest is there.
Yeah. So it was heavy on the arts scene, and I just like that, which is funny because Nevada is not known for that. But considering these things, right?
I heard Nevada's art scene is literally the worst. I heard Nevada's art scene is literally the worst, and it's draining for artists, is what I heard.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but I heard the gig scene is good. So like if you if you're a trumpet player, right? And you need to be around a bunch of other trumpet players that get sessions all the time, easy. Every single casino show, whatever, every single, like they need session players, right? But if you want to jam out with people that are trying to innovate and do some trumpet over EDM or like some trumpet house, they're like, oh, everyone, we're all here to like, you pretty much become a blue collar trumpet player rather than a creative trumpet player.
I see.
And I hear that across the board from photographers, painters, everything, rappers, same thing.
I think the ultimately the idea of picking everything up and moving so many miles away from home was too daunting. So even though I considered these places, they were so short in my brain because I ultimately knew that Nevada was a spot.
What's daunting about like let's say, I don't know, Austin or Houston or something?
I just think the amount of travel, I think my number one thing is just being accessible or having my family be accessible or being accessible to my family.
Yeah.
So because of that, just considering all those, just how long it'll take me to get to them or vice versa. I just didn't like that.
What about Arizona? That's like a 4-hour drive too. You could take 4 hours, get to pretty much cross Havasu and you're in Arizona.
I'm not familiar with it. I don't know enough about Arizona.
You know their world famous iced tea, don't you?
Does it come from Arizona?
I don't know.
No, I don't. I think, and I also think the travel was part of it, and the fact that I'm familiar with it. As much as I hate it because I know it so well, or at least the strip of it, right? I think most of us know the strip. So because
especially from LA, that's like people do same day trips all the time. Like,
yeah.
Let's get fucked up and come back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of that, I'm just familiar with it. So just with my experiences.
So it feels like an extended LA almost.
It does. And I think the fact that there's so many international travelers and just travelers from all over the states.
The world too.
The world, right. That visit. That it just feels like you're going to run into people that are just like you anyway. Whereas Arizona or Texas or not Hawaii, because Hawaii is also a destination. But those other areas, it just felt like it was kind of stale.
That's what I liked about like when I was bringing up the whole international travel and like the whole airport thing. I didn't want to move into a state and almost feel like I have to completely abandon how and what raised me and the culture that I'm used to.
Yes.
To become like Arizonian or New Mexican.
Like, am I going to have to buy boots if I go to Texas?
Yeah.
No offense. I'm completely ignorant, obviously.
Yeah. Like,
but I'm painting an extreme picture.
Yeah. Like, do I have to like, it's almost like.
Like if I drive up with my Tesla, are they like, look at these city slickers?
Yeah. Or like if you move into the South, I'm like, am I like, do I have to listen to country now? Like, is that, do I have to, is that what it is?
And trust me, you guys, we know it's not this way. We're again painting a fucking extreme picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're painting a picture from ignorance, but ignorance is what keeps me alive. and so
that needs to be a fucking poster. Ignorance keeps me alive.
And so like
fucking Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, so like and then when I think,
oh my god, you have his hat on too. Anyway, you know what?
Who's Mr. Magoo?
Really?
Yeah.
He's a guy that's blind and he might even be deaf, and he's constantly getting in situations that can kill him, but he always like avoids death. Like he's always going underneath fucking ladders, and like he has the worst luck, but it never really affects him. It affects everyone else around him, and he's always just in these pickles that he just gets away scot-free, and he doesn't even know it happened.
This is a cartoon or what is this?
Yeah, like the 60s or 70s. It's like an old ass cartoon.
Sounds old.
Yeah, Mr. Magoo, right? Yeah, so I don't even know if he's deaf or blind, or he could just be dumb.
You said
I can't
both.
remember. You both? None? He could be stupid.
Damn.
One or the other. But yeah, that's who that is. But before you jump in, because I know I cut you off 3 or 4 times from trying to say that one phrase, I'm going to introduce our next sponsor. Yay!
For all my diet conscious people that also like to get drunk, have I got something for you, because this podcast is sponsored by Usual Wines.
Ooh.
So Usual Wines are made from world-class AVAs, which stands for American Viticultural Area in California, like Napa, Sonoma, and Santa Barbara, and are made with minimal intervention, 0 sugar. That's the part that I want to emphasize. 0 sugar and 0 additives. But you're like, but don't grapes contain sugar? Well, it's because all Usual Wines are produced using natural, sustainable grapes harvested every fall. So these grapes are picked at the optimal ripeness to ensure that all sugar will be fermented completely until the wines are dry with no residual sugar. So all that is left is their delicious, clean wine. And just by even hearing this process, I'm like, give me some wine so I can turn red and knock out in 30 minutes.
You love wine though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like one of the few things that I feel like not only is it more health conscious, but it actually makes food taste better.
It does.
Especially like red meat and stuff.
You have multiple uses.
Yeah. So in goes the sugar, out comes the alcohol. And some winemakers will purposefully end fermentation early to keep a little sugar in the wine. Usual wines are fermented until no more sugars are in the wine. So this ensures the wines are as dry as possible and also lower in calories. For November, there's a special holiday product called the Usual Reserve, and it's an ultra premium limited edition Mount Vidier Cabernet Sauvignon. Introducing Usual Reserve. This is our most special wine yet. Just came in for the holidays, hailing from one of the most celebrated plots of land in all of Napa. This Cabernet Sauvignon is concentrated and rich with just enough grip. Get it? Just a little bit of grip. Gift it to someone special or keep it all for yourself. The holidays as usual. Go check out their website at www.usualwines.com and use our discount code BEAW. You guys already know the code BEAW for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us. That's code BEAW, BEAW for $8 off your first order at www.usualwines.com.
All right, we're back. Okay, now say what you wanted to say.
So what I wanted to say is so that from my ignorance, so that I don't have to completely assimilate into a certain culture where I feel like people that think of LA, they think of, oh, so I got to wear shorts and wear sandals all the time now. You know, like that's also a common thought. I think that's also what really attracted me to Vegas or any other hotspot that has a ton of international visitors. Because there's a ton of international visitors, usually that epicenter, it's a constantly moving and changing thing.
Yeah, it's evolving.
So you don't need to have a certain stagnant culture. And also because it's constantly moving, you can technically be any culture you want.
Yeah.
And not feel out of place. Like you can be an emo guy. You could be a metalhead. You could be a surfer dude, you know, like I ride wakeboards in Vegas.
And there'll probably be a scene for you out there because there's been enough people that walk through it.
Yeah.
That they can capitalize on and make money off of.
Yeah. And that's how I feel about like all of the big international spots where like you can go there and be anything and still find your people.
Yeah.
And that's also like one of the reasons what made me really like it, where I don't have to kind of shed who I am from LA and then change who I am, you know.
Yeah.
Versus some of the other places, like, I don't know, maybe in Utah, like I have to be a ski guy now.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I don't know. That's just me speaking out of ignorance, obviously, but that's just how I feel. And I feels like moving to Vegas, I can be 100% who I am because it is extended LA, extremely East LA, you know, East LA almost.
Yeah. I grew up in East LA, so why not East LA?
Yeah. Extra East LA.
Yeah. No, you put that into words perfectly for me because I think that's what I felt. Where I'm like, damn, all these other places, I see myself feeling like a sore thumb, like not sticking in, like not fitting in, not sticking in, but not fitting in. And I don't mind it because I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna create my own world in any way I can to make it mine. But like finding, you know, food, finding clothing or, you know, events or different things that fit my lifestyle would be a lot more difficult. And that was one thing that really surprised me about you when you were so adamant about having an Asian market nearby. Like at first I thought you were kidding. I didn't think it was that serious.
It's super serious.
I didn't know.
What made it feel so crazy that I have to have an Asian market nearby?
Because you're so flexible. Like you're so go with the flow. You make it work. You're so resourceful. Like I feel like nothing holds you back. And this was one of the few times that I've seen something, not that it's holding you back, but it's like a huge factor when I thought it was something, because I don't care about food. I don't care about shit like that. I'm just like, oh, I'll just fit in where I can, you know?
I see.
But the art scene, you know, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because I like experiencing art.
I think the Asian markets, it does two things for me. One, obviously, I really love Asian food. Two, it's like one factor that shows me how progressive a city is. So two other states that I was also considering.
Do you feel because it might be racist?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not in terms of like socially progressive, but just with the times type of progressive.
Yeah. So like the city we live in, Glendora right now.
Like for example.
Like it's not very progressive.
Like Minnesota. there's a ton of Asians there, right? But everyone dresses like from the 95s or something. So they're not very progressive.
Sorry, Minnesotans.
Yeah. If you're from Minnesota, you know you dress like shit.
Yeah, fuck off.
You know what I mean?
You're lame.
So it's like that. Like that's what I mean by progressive. Not in terms of like a social standpoint, but just like with the times. And Minnesota is probably, it's like the butt crack of the US anyways. Going back to other states I was considering.
Yeah, fuck off, Minnesota.
They're like, what the fuck, man?
We didn't do anything.
Hey, it's your fault you're there.
Yeah, fuck off. Fuck you.
So like other states I was considering was Idaho and Utah.
Every time I hear Idaho, I turn fucking 7 and it's like, Idaho.
Fine.
I'm not the hoe. Idaho. No, Idaho.
Fine. I was considering those two too because
Bar doesn't care about
I do.
me being 7. Anyway, go ahead.
That's not very nice if you're 7 you're thinking about prostitution.
Whoa. That's not even what I was just thinking about being promiscuous, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't trying to turn a profit.
And that's okay. Being promiscuous at 7's okay.
I wasn't trying to turn a profit.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, maybe you weren't very business minded, but you were still slutty. So what I liked about Idaho and Utah is they don't have the 0 state income tax, but it is very low. And you know me in nature and you know me in space. So when I look at the pictures from there and it looks like, oh, here's a house, ton of space, mountains and trees. I'm like, wow. That feels good.
Doesn't Nevada like have a corner that like is shared with
California? You're talking about Reno?
No.
Lake Tahoe?
No. Let me look at the map. Keep talking.
Nevada has hella corners that's shared with hella people.
Yeah, I know. Keep talking.
Oh. Well, so that was very picturesque for me. So Idaho and Utah were also considerations. But then when I started looking for Asian food, it was like Asian food.
Oregon. And they're known for their Oregon. Okay.
What?
Yeah, the nature.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew that there was a tip of a very naturey part of Nevada, like heavily, like beautiful.
I see.
And I'm like, oh, right. It's the tip that borders
Oregon,
obviously.
Yeah. So what is it called?
I'm still looking at the map.
Yeah, Idaho, Utah, very beautiful, but then they don't have any Asian markets, like very many. And they don't even have that many Asian food. And I'm like, oh man, that's gonna suck. And so that tells me that they're still behind, you know? So that means
that's a good marker.
So yeah, that's behind. And then that means like, if that's how ahead they are on food and I'm a big foodie, I can just already tell how the other food's gonna be. You know, I'm gonna be like, okay, so their best Italian place is probably gonna be a little bit above Olive Garden, you know, and the food is such a big deal for me. And when speaking of markers, this is my secret.
You're gonna talk about markers?
No, I have my own secrets.
Oh.
So
why? You're not supposed to have secrets.
I know, but I'm sharing it with you, so it's not a secret anymore.
How long have you had the secret?
For a while, I think.
That is fucked up. We're gonna talk. Let's talk about that divorce shit after.
Then I won't tell you the secret.
No,
I'm not gonna tell you the secret.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So this is my secret to real estate. Okay, this is Bart Kwan's secrets to real estate investment strategy. For me,
what's the acronym?
I don't know. So obviously, you want to do market research in wherever you want to invest in, right? And so even by moving, you're investing into that city, right? You're buying a share of that city, if you will, right? For me, because I don't have time to do the market analysis, I trust my market analysis to the big companies that I trust.
Yeah.
So my trifecta that I've realized.
All right, get a pen and paper out.
Every time I go on Zillow, and if the city looks dope to me, and it usually has these 3 companies in it.
Okay.
And usually only the cream of the crop cities have these. You ready?
Ooh, I just thought of something, but I'll let you finish.
You ready?
I'm so ready.
So usually
they
have an Apple store.
Yes.
They usually also have a Lululemon.
Yes.
And then usually they have a good school system.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say.
So when you have those 3, to me, it usually puts that city like that. And then you look at all the housing prices are usually there. And then when you look at housing crashes, they're able to withstand the bubble burst across the board that I've looked all over Zillow. It's usually those 3. So those are my 3 secrets into looking for stuff like that. And Nevada passed my test.
Wow.
You know, so Vegas passed my test. So I'm like, okay, cool. The school system is not as strong as many other places, But because there's so many people coming in from out of state, coming from places with good school systems, I think it's over time where like the PTA is going to get involved and it's going to just bring everything up. But aside from that, like usually it's those three, and even cities that have 2 out of the 3 are actually still pretty good. Yeah.
Wasn't one of your markers like ArcLight or something?
ArcLight's one of them too. That's my 4th one.
Are they?
That one was gonna be, you have to subscribe to my Bartquan real estate program for you to reveal it. But
okay,
you just gave it out.
We'll cut it out. But
ArcLight, I think, is only a California thing. So
Is
maybe
it?
I think so. So it doesn't apply to other places. But yeah, usually when I'm talking about within the states, what I've noticed is if you got an Apple store, that means this city is pretty at the forefront of things. If it has an Apple store and it has a Lululemon, that means, because Lululemon is expensive. So not only are people fitness focused, they're fitness focused with professional degrees. And then you have good school system, which means that the parents really care about the kids. Because to get a good school system, usually you have good PTA and you have to have good property taxes that comes from your housing payments and all that. So it's like that usually to me are 3 my own personal ignorant markers, indicators of if a city's strong or not. And then Nevada or Vegas had that too. So I was like, I think they'll give this a real consideration.
Why were you not about Texas and the other places you considered anymore?
So in the other podcast, I talked about how Texas is a different time zone. So just trying to do same day trips, flying back and forth, or even running a business or running our LA businesses from out of state will be a little bit more difficult. So aside from that, to me, I was strongly considering Dallas, Houston, and Austin. Houston, very close to Louisiana. It's East Texas. And I see how much destruction happens when hurricanes come.
Not about that.
And I'm like,
we don't have any of that. We're not used to it. We wouldn't even know what to do.
Yeah, I'm not used to that. And then it's also the most humid of Texas.
Oh, no, fuck all that.
So Texas is already humid in general. It's the most humid. So I'm like, fuck that. Dallas, I was actually considering because it really reminds me of Irvine, like clean, like suburb feeling. So I think
spacious.
But then I also heard that all the real culture and the bomb food is in Houston though. So Dallas is like, because it's too clean, too organized, everything is like super chain restaurant-y. So it almost feels like you're moving into like a, I don't know.
Like a Pleasantville?
Kind of like that, yeah. Austin, I do like. But then what turns me off about Austin is that it just seems like too much of a clash of shit. Like I like when people are diverse, and I love when people embrace who they are, but I don't like it when people are all of that and they have to shove it down other people's throats.
For example?
So, like let's say I love fitness, right? I don't force people to do fitness. I just live by example. If people want to work out with me, that's perfectly fine. I don't like people that are like vegans or something and they're forcing me to be a vegan, or I'm into fitness, I force you to have to do fitness, or this person loves this and you have to do this or else you're not part of that crew. In Austin, I feel like it's a lot of, because the mottos keep Austin weird, right? The thing is, it's like not only are they weird, but they're weird and passionate and forceful. So now the feeling that I get from Austin is just a lot of conflict. I want people to be weird and harmonious and live together and be completely cool with it. Like you do you, I do me. But I don't want like, I got my weird shit and now you have to do it or else you're not part of me. And that's the feeling I get from Austin. Like, it's like, it feels like, I don't know, like you have to be weird now. And then if you're not and you just want to be a normal guy, now you weird, you got to get out of Austin. You're not weird enough.
I'm not sure it's like that.
Like I said, it's speaking from ignorance. I have been there quite a few times, and that's what I get. And that's what I get from it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, when I went there, I didn't feel that at all. I just felt like it was a college town.
Like I go there, and then it's almost like, oh, you don't have blue hair, you fucking weirdo. And I'm like,
no way.
Sorry, I'll go get blue hair then.
I feel like LA's pretentious like that. Like West.
Well, it's not pretentious. They're weird-tentious.
Weird-tentious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, where's your septum piercing, bro? And I'm like, I guess I'll go get one then.
What about the other places?
Which other places?
What else? What else did you consider?
Oh, and also something about humidity I hate. So people talk about Vegas heat, right? Or just heat in general. The cool thing about when it's dry heat, you go under a shade and it cuts the degrees by 20 degrees, right? And you're like, okay, cool. You can find some shade without AC and you can find a way to cool down. When it's humid, guess what? You go under the shade and it's still humid underneath there. The humidity doesn't go away. So that's the part of like humid places I don't like. Like if you've been Taiwan or any other Asian country, when it's humid, even at night, after the temperature drops down, it's still humid as fuck. And you just feel like this. So humidity also was like a big thing for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Before you move on into the other considerations, let me introduce our next sponsor. All right, you guys, this day has finally come where the holidays are literally within reach. Like, I don't know how quickly these things approach, but they're here. The holidays are here. And if you're like me, you're already scrambling with, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to buy for, the people in my family? Well, I have the perfect gift idea for you. Brought to you by our sponsor, Skylight Frames. I actually got this for my mom, I want to say last year, and I absolutely love it. So Skylight Frame is a photo frame you can update instantly by email from anywhere. So right now, a lot of us, unfortunately, can't see our parents or we can't see our loved ones just because of the pandemic that's happening globally. So a way that we can still stay connected is through photos. And what I love about Skylight is the Skylight Frame specifically is that my mom's not very tech savvy. So when I gifted this to her, I was very aware that she just wasn't going to be tech savvy and she gets very intimidated by any sort of tech. So I took it out of the box and already she's like, I don't know how to use this. What am I going to do? She's panicking. And I'm like, no, just wait. Watch what happens. It took, honestly, it was less than 60 seconds. I plugged it into the wall. We connected it to her Wi-Fi. We signed her up for a specific Skylight Frame email where you're going to email your photos. And that was it. So she already had peace of mind that she's like, oh, wait, I get this. And I always surprise her literally on a weekly when I send her a new photo. Like we'll take a picture when we went to the snow or of Taika. And I'm like, oh my God, my mom will love this. So yeah, I can text it to her, but how often is she going to pull that up? It just stays in her phone and it's this fond memory. But now because she has Skylight Frames, once I send it to her, it automatically uploads and it's rotating. So now in the rotation, it just adds this new photo and it's a cute little surprise.
Super cute.
So it's a gift that keeps on giving. And it's the best gift, especially for like your in-laws or parents or people that are not very tech savvy, but love a lot of photos. And I mean, nowadays, who's really printing photos? So
only losers.
No, I mean, I print photos. But this is an awesome alternative. Yeah, it's awesome. It's super easy to install. And right now, for everyone that's listening, you guys are getting hooked up with a special offer. You're going to get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com and enter our code BEAW, BEAW. That's right. That's $10 full off your purchase of a Skylight Frame. Just go to skylightframe.com and enter code BEAW. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com. Promo code BEAW, BEAW. And we're back.
And like you, I think I've always liked Hawaii, but I think seeing how much it is off-putting for you, it just wasn't like a consideration for me because I like, it's got to be 50-50, right? And it's got to, what happened?
That was cute. Because normally when people wipe their nose, it's one of these. Like it's you went like.
Did I? No, it's just itchy.
I know, that's funny because you put your finger out first and then you went under your nose.
I telegraphed it.
Because usually I go.
I shouldn't have telegraphed it. Damn, you know my moves.
Okay, go.
Yeah, so Hawaii, because I know how much it's like not even.
But was it a real consideration for you? Don't even consider me.
Oh yeah, it'd be a huge consideration.
Whoa! Even though we're trying to stack up our chips,
yeah,
and it has income tax that's relatively high.
And the reason why it would be so the whole lifestyle tax, right? That's a euphemism. It's a term that's coined for people that live in awesome places so that pill is easier to swallow, right? The 13% tax, they call it a lifestyle tax. So they go,
fine.
That's what I get for getting the best weather, right?
Fine.
So for me, the Hawaii lifestyle tax is worth it because I actually get to see it happen. You literally have the most beautiful beaches. They really care about their beaches. You feel the aloha spirit. And
everything's super ohana.
You feel the pride. Like you feel all that. So like if I'm paying that tax, I see the return on it. California, I don't. I feels like I'm paying tax to a state government that doesn't give two shits about the state. You know, so I don't feel, so to me, I'm like, so now I'm paying the tax to nature. But if it is going to nature, why is there trash on the beach?
Why there's so many goddamn fires?
Yeah, right? It's like, so it's not even going to nature. So that's how I feel about Hawaii, where I'm okay, cool, I'm actually paying the tax. But in Hawaii, and the reason why it's yes, the whole stacking chips thing, I think my chip stack and my assessment of it is now way different because of how I would want to live there. So now if I just want to live close to the beach, a small house, or, you know, and then the beach is like the backyard, and I'm just driving around with a roofless Jeep all day, like I don't need as much chips as that would last, that I would, like, you know, if you were to live in San Francisco or New York, you know, you need way more chips to retire there. So in Hawaii, I feel like I could tone everything down and then maybe get ourselves like, I don't know, a little like Spam Musubi restaurant. We run that thing. Like I was open to changing a lot of what I thought were my permanent goals and changing to adapting to live that Hawaiian lifestyle.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't need to be super fashion forward or something, you know, like to.
You think you're fashion forward?
Not at all.
Oh.
But I do feel the guilt
so
of it.
cute.
But I feel the guilt of it. Like in LA, in LA, like when I don't buy new clothes all the time, I feel like, damn, I'm being a shitty Angelino.
Really?
Yeah. Like I don't feel like I'm like, you know, like what the Angelino, I don't feel like I'm supporting the culture.
Gotcha.
You know, it's almost like when you have a family full of like, I don't know, like Rams fans, and everyone has like blue and yellow face paint on, and you're like, oh, I don't want to, but I guess I got to put the face paint on too. It feels like that. And like, I don't want to ruin it for you guys. So I feel like that. But in Hawaii, everyone dresses like me, you know, shorts, t-shirt, sandals.
No shirt.
And then, yeah, and it's probably okay to even just wear one pair of shorts for 7 days. You know, so I just feel like all my costs get lowered, and has the best Asian food on every single corner. I love that part of it, you know? So I just love everything. And I love fighting sports, and Hawaii loves to fight. It's like the most, I think just the soul of the state, like really peaceful, fun-loving people that like to beat the fuck out of each other. Like that's me. That's really who I am.
Okay.
So it's just almost, it feels like moving back home.
What the fuck? Okay. Well,
and to me, moving back home is worth it.
Okay.
For the tax, you know?
Yeah, not me. Yeah, not me at all. Because even when we go there, there's not that many healthy varieties. Obviously, I don't know where to look, but every food there is so heavy.
Well, we're also on the tourist diet when we're there. Like no matter what.
We'll probably cook at home.
Yeah, no matter what city you go in, if you're on the tourist diet, it's gonna be crazy.
That's true. Okay, I'll give you that. But the poke, oh my God.
That's healthy right there.
Oh my God.
Right there. Get some shoyu poke with some rice.
And the fruit.
For $5. It's cheap.
Your fruit
and you
out there.
Go eat on the beach.
I hate papayas out here, but in Hawaii, I eat a papaya like every morning with a little bit of lemon.
What you've been listing is all healthy already.
Poke, I know. I fucked up.
Papaya. You go out on the beach. You chill. How much money does that cost? Not very much.
It's free.
Yeah. Maybe buy a snorkel or two. Go hang out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Go on a couple of hikes. That's pretty much what we do here.
Yeah. I can do 10 days of that.
Then what do you need after the 10 days?
I need to come back over here.
And come back over here, fly back home when you're done with LA.
No. Okay. Anything else that you considered?
Nah, that's it.
That was it.
But I have been watching some videos that talk about like really, you know, figuring out the best places for you to live in the world.
Yeah.
And there's people that like live in this country, register their business in that country.
Oh,
so,
Jesus.
So playing this game on a global scale.
Yeah.
I have actually started to think about that too. But it goes back to the whole family thing where that just makes it even less accessible.
Yeah. I think once we move to Vegas and then we get to see what our life really is like.
Yeah.
We might not be as considerate or weary of the distance between us and our family for the sake of emergencies. Yeah, we might be more inclined to even move out of the country.
New Zealand, everyone always talks about how dope New Zealand is.
I know, we shouldn't broadcast that just yet. Because then everyone listening now might want to go to New Zealand. And then there's going to be no more room for us. Okay, well, actually, you guys listening are like us. So I don't mind that you move there. Because then I want to be around like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
So go to New Zealand, you guys. I hear it's really, really good. We're not going to go there yet. We're gonna stick to the U.S. and see how we like Nevada, Vegas specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what we're doing.
It's even speaking of safety, like you're talking about earlier. Did you know Henderson, which is the neighboring city to Vegas, is the second safest city in the United States?
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that makes me happy. What about Summerlin? Not too new?
No, yeah, it's too new, I think.
Damn
they don't
it.
have their own police department or anything like that. Henderson does.
I was looking for the top 10 places for like the best places to live in the US.
Yeah.
The top 5, 3 of those were Colorado.
Colorado's popping.
Yeah. And Colorado was on the map like 4 different times, like 4 different areas in
people
Colorado.
Love Colorado, especially people coming from California.
Yeah. North Carolina was one of them.
That threw me off.
That was number 10.
I'm like, I've lived in North Carolina for like 3-4 months.
It was Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, I lived there for 4 months. And I'm like,
part of North Carolina though. Because it's like saying like I lived in Bakersfield and now, California sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
Bakersfield, you know what's up.
I lived in Jacksonville, but it's also like 2-hour drive from Raleigh. I get Raleigh.
So then you get it.
Yeah, the whole thing kind of sucks.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know what list they pulled this
Because
from.
you got to fly into Raleigh and then you drive to Jacksonville.
Oh, I see.
So I've been to Raleigh many times and the whole thing kind of sucks.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe it just wasn't for your lifestyle. But
no, they didn't do my test. Tell me if those cities got a Lululemon, Apple, and good schools. And then the fourth one, ArcLight. Tell me.
You just said that it's only in California, ArcLight.
Or ArcLight equivalent.
Fine. Okay. Well, it looks like we've reached the end of our podcast. So is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah. I hope our further elaboration into like some of the places that we want to live.
And why.
I think maybe that can spark some ideas with you guys. Because I think ultimately, people should, if people are unsatisfied with their circumstances, and if you have the means to change it, I think you should change it, And obviously change is always difficult. Even like getting a brand new haircut, you're like, oh, I'm gonna cut off all my hair. But after you do it, you feel liberated. And then now you have all this new momentum for like this new chapter in your life. And I think for all of us in 2020, it's been a really tough chapter. So if there's things that you can do to make your 2021 better, 2022 better, I'm all for it. And just hopefully that some of our thoughts were insightful to some people.
Yeah, absolutely. You worded that very nicely.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you guys so much for listening. And thank you to our sponsor, Best Fiends. Make sure to download Best Fiends free today on the Apple App Store and Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. And thank you to Usual Wines. Make sure to go check out their website at www.usualwines.com and use our discount code BEZ for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us. And thank you to Skylight Frames. Now, as a special offer, you can get $10 off your purchase of Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com and enter code BEAW, B-E-A-W. That's right. You get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame. Just go to skylightframe.com and enter code BEAW. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com. Promo code BEAW, B-E-A-W.
All right, guys. And also, last but not least, barbellbrigade.com. We have our biggest sale event of the year. Yes, you guessed it, our Black Friday sale. Make sure you go to barbellbrigade.com the minute it turns 12:01 on Friday, because we have huge sales across the board. We have our new horchata protein. We have sales on all of our supplements, all of our clothes. And the more you get, the more you save. So how much you want to save is up to you. Go check it out. barbellbrigade.com, the biggest sale event of the year.